I wanted to talk more about King Shark and you all let me. Thank you! Before we get into it, I really want to say thank you for watching the previous video, liking it, sharing it, and reaching out to let me know how much you personally enjoyed it. I seriously really wanted to do a part 2 for this one, and you all supporting that first video really helped to make it possible. So seriously, thank you. With part 1 of this list, we just scratched the surface when it comes to King Shark, so now it's time to dive even deeper, like the bottom of the ocean deep, as we count down the top 10 King Shark facts you need to know. Part 2. Yep, part 2. Squeak! Alright, let's get into it. Number 10. Secret Society of Supervillains. We know that King Shark was on the Suicide Squad, and we talked more about his time on the Secret Six team on part 1. But did you know he was also part of another villainous team? At one point, he was recruited to join Alexander Luthor's version of the Secret Society of Supervillains team. King Shark only served on the team for a short while and was one of the villains sent to attack Atlantis. Of course, very fitting. Number 9. Married. In the Harley Quinn animated series and its own universe, King Shark ends up getting married. Here he is voiced by Ron Funches, and this version of King Shark is a lot more tame in comparison to his comic book counterpart. He's an expert hacker and is later revealed to be the prince of the underwater shark kingdom. In the episode Bachelorette, King Shark's storyline reveals more of his past, including that he was prince of the underwater kingdom and that he basically left that after becoming forcibly betrothed in a political marriage organized to help keep peace. King Shark does not want to get married, and he returns to his home beneath the sea to tell his father so after realizing that his intended, Tabitha, doesn't want to get married either. However, after swearing to leave the sea forever, he returns a few minutes later and does actually end up getting married. He later confesses that he just wanted his dad to know how he wasn't happy about having to get married. He and Tabitha, though, have an agreement that they are allowed to pursue other relationships outside of their marriage so that they can each find their own true love, while staying in the marriage for show in order to, of course, maintain peace between their people, the Great Whites and the Hammerheads. Also, friends, before we move on to that next spot, if you are enjoying this video, be sure to show us by giving it a thumbs up, maybe hitting that share, maybe hitting that subscribe. I don't know, anything you do helps out. Number 8. Constant Shark. Fun fact, in the DC animated film universe, it's been confirmed that John Constantine and King Shark used to date. During the Justice League Dark Apocalypse War film, Constantine runs into the Suicide Squad, and when Harley and King Shark head his way, he complains to Raven about running into his ex. Raven assumes that Constantine once dated Harley Quinn. She expresses to Constantine that she finds the idea of the two together nasty. Constantine, however, responds that he is not crazy enough to date Harley Quinn, and then we see King Shark winking at him as Constantine looks awkwardly away, confirming that yes, these two do have history. Apparently there was going to be more of an explanation of their relationship and what brought the two together, but it ended up getting cut from the script. Still, you can always read or write your own Constant Shark fanfic if you feel the need to explore more of their love story. And I mean, who doesn't want to explore that love story? I feel like it'd be so interesting. Number 7. Hungry, Hungry Shark. One of the things that is important to consider is what motivates King Shark to be a villain. If anything, he's really not one intentionally, as he's kind of merely forced to become one to survive. At least that's what it appears to be initially. A lot of what bothers heroes about King Shark is that, well, he eats people. But in the end, it's just because he's so hungry. If based on his original design, King Shark actually had the appetite of a great white shark, his hunger and desperation to feed would kind of make some sense. Great whites don't eat that often, but when they do, their meals are usually big. This helps them to sustain themselves for weeks and is why they usually go for a high-fat diet, because it is higher in calories and will often sustain them for longer. Which could also be why King Shark is so often shown chomping down on large mammals like us humans. Although I definitely think he eats more often than most great whites do, who actually only sometimes eat like once a month to sustain themselves. But still, he's a magical shark-human hybrid demigod, so we need to factor that into his appetite too. Number 6. Aquaman. On part 1 of this list, we talked about King Shark's initial heroic enemy in the comics, Superboy. But being that King Shark is, well, a shark, you'd think he'd fit more neatly into the rogues gallery of the underwater hero known as Aquaman. No? Well, he and Aquaman have actually tangled before, so much so that he has become more known for his affiliation and conflicts with that hero. However, their relationship has also been more complicated. During the New Earth continuity, King Shark at one point worked to protect Aquaman, but only so that he could one day be the one to strike him down as per his father, the Shark God's orders. However, this plan didn't end up working out, and in the end, King Shark was defeated. Since then, King Shark has been both a reluctant ally and sometimes villain to Aquaman in the Prime Earth continuity, depending on the circumstances. In the last few years, King Shark even came to Arthur's aid at the last minute when he asked for his help in defeating extremist Coram Wrath. So there, he was an ally. Number 5, Crime Lord of Atlantis. Just because King Shark has helped Aquaman though, don't think that he's gone full hero or anything like that. Initially, when King Shark was brought to Atlantis, he was relegated to living in the poorer area of the kingdom. King Shark made the Ninth Tride his home and started to build and grow his own criminal empire there. The Ninth Tride is the place where the thugs and criminals often dwell, and King Shark planned for his new gang to quickly become the one on top. At one point, he even saved a dying Mara, but only for leverage. Mara had become unable to breathe underwater after using her powers to break through the Crown of Thorns, an artifact and intense barrier around Atlantis, preventing anyone from getting in or out at the time. King Shark found her, kept her alive in an oxygen tank, but was waiting for the moment when he could make the most use of her. So he didn't save her because he was like, I must save Mara out of the kindness of my heart. No. Number 4, Feeding Frenzy. One of the things you want to watch out for when it comes to King Shark is that you don't bleed around him. Like many other sharks in nature, the smell of blood can cause him to go into a feeding frenzy and will generally leave him unable to prevent himself from devouring what he now sees as prey. It's when sharks, their eyes go all they go super intensely black. You know what I mean. At least that's how it's shown in stories. I've never seen a real shark go into a feeding frenzy up close, so I don't know what that looks like. I don't think I want to. I think I'm good. We see this happen to King Shark in the Harley Quinn animated series a few times, with the much more gentle and sweet version of this character going into an intense feeding frenzy. Just think back to the moment in Finding Nemo with one of my favorite sharks of all time, Bruce. It's like the feeding frenzy we see there, except in King Shark's world, he'd likely have to be repeating to himself, humans are friends, not food, because he's generally not, eating or preying on fish. Number 3, Sam Makoa. Sam Makoa was a cop from Hawaii who fought hard to solve a missing persons case, and when he found that King Shark was responsible, fought hard to apprehend him and then imprison him. In doing so, he almost apparently lost his own life and became the sworn enemy to King Shark for locking him up in Kulani prison. In the end, though, King Shark did escape, turning on the people who had actually broken him out in the hopes of hiring him for their own uses. Didn't work out so well for them. Sam, now a special agent, returned to King Shark's hunting grounds to catch him once more after he escaped, and ended up teaming up with Superboy to do so. Number 2, First Suicide Squad Mission. King Shark would appear as a member of the Suicide Squad back in Superboy Volume 4, the first series that he'd appeared in, actually. King Shark actually had his very first appearance in issue 0, and then his full appearance in issue 9 there. He was revealed to be a member of Amanda Waller's team in issue 13 of Superboy, and had to team up with both of his enemies, Superboy and Sam Makoa. This incarnation of the team featured Knockout, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Sidearm, and King Shark himself. Instead of having a bomb in his neck though, he had an explosive belt, which was rigged to explode if Sam was abandoned or killed. A little bit of insurance for him, although Sam was still not very happy with having to join King Shark on this mission. Number 1, King Shark is a shark. King Shark is a shark. Did you know? If you've heard people say this before, you may have wondered, what does this mean? Shouldn't we all know the King Shark is a shark? I mean, it's in his name. Well, I saw all of you on part 1 shouting this out proudly in the comments, and I thought that we should let others in on the inside joke if they don't know what this means. For DC and King Shark fans who have yet to venture into the animated film side of things, this is something that King Shark says in that universe. Also, if you haven't watched the animated films, you should. They're amazing. I personally haven't even seen them all, but everyone that I have seen has been great, and I've heard only the best things. In the animated film universe, King Shark is a shark is pretty much all that he ever says, except in the Justice League Dark film when King Shark reveals to Captain Boomerang that he is actually very well spoken when speaking the English language. He says that it has been an honor fighting by his teammates' side. Obviously, Boomerang does not take well to this revelation, although it's a little unclear what that implies. I mean, is it like you know, he could speak English the entire time, but he just didn't want to. And when he was speaking his language, it just sounded like King Shark is a shark? Or is it like Captain Boomerang finally understood him and so he heard him speaking English, but really he was just saying King Shark is a shark? I have questions about what's really going on there, but it's still pretty hilarious, so I'm just gonna let it go. What are some of your favorite King Shark facts? Are there any other Suicide Squad members that you need to know more about? Do you also think King Shark deserves his own comic series? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it is time to turn to some comments from one of our previous videos, Top 10 King Shark Facts You Need to Know, Part 1. Matt G says, we must protect King Shark at all costs. If he needs our help, then I will help to protect him, but I feel like he's probably pretty good. JW Pals Rock responds, when Amanda said he's a man-eater, the mental image of King Shark singing, she's a man-eater, oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. At a karaoke bar came to mind. Maybe the changing the she to an I. I personally don't even think King Shark needs to change the she to an I, and I could totally hear him singing that in a gruff voice as I just tried to give you a preview of. I think that would be awesome, and if it hasn't happened yet, it should happen. Abigail Gott shares, wait, as soon as I heard that he is a demigod, I immediately thought of that one scene in Moana where Maui had a shark face. I love that that's where you went with it, and I 100% feel those Shark King vibes. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and feels shouted out in a future list. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Till next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube. Na 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 na.